What is up? Thank you for coming to my channel, Prison POV. What is up, Splinter? Videos 2 days in a row? You're damn right, because I love making videos. I love you guys, man. And if you love me back, you know that'd make me feel warm and fuzzy. There's several different ways you can show it. Real simple, subscribe, like even. I had no idea how much a like meant to the algorithm. Algorithm eats it up like. Comments, you know those go the distance. Even if you want to go deep in a little bit, we start getting into joining. Or even, hey, I got a P.O. box, hit me up, we can straight out correspond. Believe that. So, shout out to the Point of View crew. What I did was I did a community tab saying, give me some ideas for today's video in particular. And the ideas were so good and awesome that I decided to just run with several of them. I'm going to run with several of the ideas. So let's just jump right into it. First off, the homegirl Sad with the Blood. If you watch my channel for any amount of time, you know I got a homegirl, a good friend in England. I have not the most respect for, Sad with the Blood. Shout out to you, Savvy. And she came up with a very good idea. Now, in order to make this list of stories, Savvy didn't make it just because I got so much love for her. No, I actually like her idea. Because I saw a lot of people on the list I got love for, and they had ideas, but I can only have room for a few. So, here we go. Sad with the Said. First time got out of prison, was it difficult to adapt? And did you get treated better or worse? Very good question, Sabbatha. When I got out of prison, not really difficult to adapt. By the time I went to prison, I'd already had a lot of county jail time. So I just got out of prison and really went right back to kicking up dust and doing dirt. I did not try to program or do good. I did not try to get around the people who would look at me like, oh, you went to prison, so I had to like adapt and adjust around them. No, I went right to the criminal code, right to the hood, started kicking with homeboys, and just fit right in. Now, what was crazy about me getting out my first time was I went for a terrorist threat. Went to prison, terrorist threat. Now, when I got out, for whatever reason, the courts did not take that terrorist threat away from my record. So it showed that I still had a warrant for terrorist threat. So I was only out for like a week. And I was at this pad. There was this chick. She had all this money. She had a pad. She had all the homeboys over there. She was spoiling everybody. She was sporting the party. Like, let's go kick it at homegirl's pad. No one really questioned where she's getting this money, what was going on. But what it was she got paid to take care of an old person. This isn't cool, man. I gotta say. And thankfully, the old person was not hurt at all. But she showed up, was supposed to be working for this old person as a caretaker, and just wheeled him in the back room and to start spending the money, writing checks and using the credit card. And I saw hoses strung all over the house. I'm thinking, what the fuck are those for? They're an oxygen tank for the poor old person. Luckily, though, the cops and the family caught on to it rather quickly. So they raided the place, and that's how I got cut up, going to jail. But I went to jail for my warrant for terrorist threats, and I thought, what the fuck? I just got out of prison for terrorist threats a week ago. How could I be going back? But what I thought was I'd already chin-checked somebody. Got into it with somebody just a couple days previous to this. And I thought, did they really call the cops on me and get me busted? So I'm going right back for terrorist threats? But no. Come to find out pretty quickly it was a mistake on the records department. They forgot to wipe it clean. But my parole officer being a dick and saying, you know what, Chris? Like, you got out, you weren't doing good, you were absconding, and you hung out this house, a drug house party, and I'm just going to leave you in there. He could leave me in there max 2 weeks, and that's what he did. Left my ass in there. And do people treat you differently? Sabbatha, let me just add this on, because I guess they do. Or they tried to. Because chip on this. My mom had rented a house. She moved in this pad to rent. And I guess the people who lived there before moved out, but they left all kinds of tools in the garage, some badass tools. I guess like diamond blade saws, whatever. I don't know. And I was there for a short while, and I am running amok. My mom kicked me out because I lied to her about reporting to parole. And then I was using already. So she's like, you got to kick rocks. Well, my uncle was staying there too. He went in there and stole all the tools. But what he did was he tried to put it off on me. I mean, because Chris, the one that just got out of prison, I could take these and be like, oh, guess what Chris did? Which I did just get out of prison. But people, they saw right through his bullshit. They knew it was him because he's a shady character too. But yeah, so they would try to throw shit off on you. Like, he just got out of prison. I can make him look bad. He could be my scapegoat. Charlie Holmes. Shit, you look worse than me on the down low. Anyway, be that as it may. So, Gregory E. He said, best day in prison. I'd say my best day in prison was trip on this, man. When you're in prison, if you don't have much coming in, the homeboys will look out for you. homeboys will take care of you. You'll have what you need, especially with the hygiene, and you'll get thrown some soups. Homeboys will look out for you. So I didn't have a whole lot coming in. I was doing 4-year sentence with half. I had to do 2 years. I was already about over a year and a half into it. People just, out of sight, out of mind. No one was really looking out. I had a job. I'd make $11 a month. I can't even remember what, sweeping the tier or some shit. So the homeboys were looking out for me because I didn't have really much coming in. But with my $11 a month, I was expected to buy my own coffee. 2 jars of coffee. They're $5.50 a piece. I drink coffee. I love it. If I don't have coffee, I'm going to ask you for a shot. I'm going to come morning breath and everything before, hair like this. What's up, dog? With my cup and get a shot of coffee. I need that. I need to wake up. So the deal was, yeah, I have $11. I'll get my own coffee and they could take care of some other shit. But I like to smoke that weed. We just opened up this pen. No one had hit anything. No one had really set anything up until this particular weekend. This one dude from Hawaiian Gardens had some weed and a bunch of other stuff brought in. He was telling us at dinner. I was ear hustling. I heard him telling someone else. And ear hustling can make it look bad, but I didn't care. I threw myself out there. I told them myself, let them know I was ear hustling by saying, what do you guys talk about? What? I was like an owl. Who? What's up, fool? Your feet fit on a branch? What'd you got, brother? What'd you do? You got some weed? I was like, shit, I got $10. I got a couple jars of coffee. Shoot me $10 worth. And sure enough, he shot it to me, and I was like, yeah. And I smoked the joint, everything was cool, and I went back to my cell the other night, and I was like, fuck. Everyone's gonna be so mad, I'm gonna look like a straight up dork. Because when I get my coffee, I'm gonna have to pay up the drug debt, and then I'm gonna be asking for coffee, and people are gonna say, Splinter, I thought you got coffee with your pay number. And it's just gonna look all bad, I'm just gonna look stupid. They're gonna realize I took my measly $10 and I went and bought weed with it instead of buying my coffee. They're not even gonna wanna help me out throughout the month. They're gonna be like, well, fuck you then. I might be asked out on coffee and soups and everything. Just over a joint. So I was bum kicked, man. Made myself look stupid. Damn it, I need to be stronger. But I do but that like hour or two when you smoke the weed, like everything goes away. The music sounds better. Your out date feels closer. Your pen pal looks prettier. Things are better. The food tastes just a little bit better. Your Sally's jokes hit just a little bit harder. But no, man. Fuck that dog. But I knew I was getting an inheritance. I knew. Because my dad had passed away. He had an inheritance coming. It would have came to him. But since he passed away, it came to me by default. So I knew I had been expecting this inheritance for several years. And then it came that night. The night I was stressing out, like, damn, I blew my 2 jars of coffee on weed. Everyone's going to think I'm on, NAC status. I got a letter into the mail from my uncle to tell me about the inheritance. I got money put in my book straight away. Fuck those jars of coffee. Hey, homeboy from Hawaiian Gardens, shoot everything you got this way. I'll buy it all. So then everything started really changing. So, and then also Gregory E. said, is there anything besides camaraderie that you miss in prison? Because you love that camaraderie. I mean, there's something just cool about chilling with the homeboys. Damn, my nose itches like motherfucker. I hate that. I think 'cause I have all this stuff stacked up that my phone's sitting on. I have like a shoebox. It's all dusty. It looks like Jenga. I really need to come up with a stand and one of those ring lights. I need to start bumping up a notch. Gregory E. said, you miss anything besides chilling with the homeboys? You know what I miss about prison? A lot reading. I love to read. I've given it a shot out here. It's even someone who I met through Point of View crew had a good idea. We each had a book. Like, hey, let's read this book together. And didn't even get started because it's so hard to read in here. But in there, I love to read. And that affected me. I'd get so emotional. I remember I read this book. I was in the hole, too. It's Soledad. It's called The Island. I tried to look it up right now on Google. I couldn't find it. Because there's other books called The Island that got in the way, I guess. What happened was they were on this island visiting like a vacation like 3 or 4 couples and like a guide or some shit. It took them there. I don't know. And there was a serial killer on the island. He started killing everybody one by one. And then he snatched up one of the ladies. There's like 2 ladies left. And he put them in like a big bamboo cage and locked the cage up with these locks. And then the tour guide killed the serial killer. So it was the only people alive left on the island now with the 2 girls inside the cages and the guide. And he's like, I can't get you guys out of those cages. I can't find the keys. I don't know what the guy did with the keys. So it ended like he couldn't get them out, but then ended like he had the keys. He left them in there because he wanted attention from them because they needed him. Where are you? Bring me water. Sit and talk to me. Because he liked them. Throughout the book, it showed that he had love for them. And he was the guide. He was the dork. He was the nerd. He had no attention coming. Because now he had them all to himself. And I was like, oh my God, he has the keys. Let him out. It affected me, man. So, get emotional on that stuff. Min K said, my favorite tattoo, how I got it. My favorite tattoo is my first tattoo I got in prison. First of all, I was so excited to get a tattoo in prison. And I've gotten a tattoo every time I've been to prison, every single spot except Mesa Verde. Because we opened it up, You need a Walkman. There's certain things you need. And since it was a brand new prison, we opened up. We had nothing. But my hard time guy is my favorite tat. This one right here. It's a hard time guy. Because he's like this. He's hard timing. And there's a lot of hard time that goes on in prison, man. That's why drug addiction is so prevalent. That's why heroin's so big. Because heroin will snap you out of depression like that. It's the greatest antidepressant. You're like, woo, this is awesome. But no, if you're sober and you're not hearing from nobody and you got no money on your books and maybe you don't like your celly and things just start going your way, you can start hard timing easy. You can start getting stuck in your head. Your out day seems so far away. Maybe you're not getting out. Luckily, I never caught a life sentence, so I was getting out. Nevertheless, I would hard time. You hard time in there. And I would look at a hard time guy and I know it ain't just me. A lot of us hard time. Everybody hard times. He's a son of a bitch. And I embrace it anyway. I have the type of personality. I'm an introvert. I kind of like the sadness and the darkness anyway. I'll just embrace that shit and run with it. But there's some hard timing going on in there. Believe that. And how I got the tattoo is so cool too because I didn't want to pay for it, man. I just didn't want to pay for it. I just wanted I wanted to be out like a homeboy love. Just you can go in there and start buy all the ink and get out. I didn't want to buy all my tattoos in prison. I want homeboys giving to me out of love. And I kicked back to this dude named Donnie from Orange County. They later start calling him Dum Dum because he went in and stole some sheets. He had like $300 in his pocket. He stole some $11 sheets. He had a strike already. When you have a strike, anything is doubled up at 80%. So they gave him 16 months for stealing those sheets, doubled it up to 32 months at 80%. He had to do 32 with 80 for stealing some $11 sheets with $300 in his pocket. Yeah, your nickname's Dum Dum. But anyways, he snuck over to my building to give me this tattoo. It was just cool, man. I remember joking around, laughing. I remember I'd make faces. He'd go, wince. What was that? Was that a wince? And it was just a good time. I just remember it was my first prison tattoo. It means something because it's a hard time a motherfucker and lets me know we all hard time. I was going to break in that REM song, Everybody Hurts, but no. I said I was going to, and I did. Come on, Splinter. See, that's what I like about No Filter. See, I don't really have notes. Had I had notes, I would not have never done that because it would not have been in my notes to do it. I program myself before I come on here. Right now, I'm not programming. I'm shooting from the lip, not the hip. So, guess what else? So, Shotgun Sherman said, tips to help withdrawal. There's no tips to help withdrawal. Withdrawal sucks. If you're going to go in there kicking, you're going to be miserable, especially when they pull you out to go to court. Especially when you have the runs and you have to throw up and you're just like, oh my gosh, your stomach's going crazy and you're handcuffed and you're cramped in a cell with people. And obviously you don't want your fluids out. Neither does anybody else. How embarrassing. Court sucks. You feel like shit. You feel like you have a 100-pound lead suit on. You're sweating. You're ice cold. You're hot. But here's how I would ruin it for myself. First of all, when you go in there, the people who are kicking alcohol get the good stuff. And I'd always forget to say it. I'd say, Splinter, next time you come in, tell me you're kicking alcohol because you'll get the good shit. I forgot the name of it. But I always forget and I always tell them I'm kicking heroin. And they say, okay, clonidine. I go, no. When they say clonidine, that triggers it. Because that ain't shit. At least I used to think. I say, no, alcohol. Look, I got the Bacardi bat. I got beer tattooed on my lip. Straight up drunk on mines. Alcoholic, full blast. I'm withdrawing from... I'm so drunk, I thought I was withdrawing from heroin. What? Full on drunk. I drink wine. No. The heroin act, they tell me, you can't have this shit. So I'd be stuck with the clonidines, which I get and throw away. So mad, I'd be disgusted. I blame it on them. Like, you little rat-ass piece of shit, you're nothing. Come to find out, no, they are something. They do work and they do help. They control body temperature. And that's your biggest problem. Hot, cold, hot, cold. Did I just go like this? Fuck, Splinter, see what I mean? No notes, I'm capable of doing anything. The cha-cha? Come on, man. Okay, so. You need sugar when you're kicking. You need sugar. I mean, you just want sugar. And I'll admit this, and I don't give a shit. I couldn't sleep. I'm in county jail on the farm. The way they got the bunks is so weird. They have like a bunk bed and have like a real thin... The bunk beds are 3 high. And they have a little wall, only this wide, a partition. But it doesn't go all the way up to cover that third bunk. It only covers the bottom 2. So the dudes on the very, very top are just pretty much next to each other. Separated by this much. There's no wall. It's like, hey, buddy. And I'm next to this guy. Feels like I'm in bed with his fucking ass. And he's snoring. He's straight sawing logs. That shit straight came from the heart. It came from his soul. Never heard anyone snore like that. And they ended up threatening to beat his ass and get him the fuck out of there. He ended up like talking his people into bailing him out. He felt in danger because they were not having. He kept everyone up. He was next to me though. And I'm trying to kick. I'm withdrawing. So I start walking the little mini yard. And I find a fireball. I don't care. Throw it out there. I'm going to keep it real with you. Someone had a fireball in their mouth. Maybe they thought it was too hot. And they spit it out. I saw it. I jumped on it like a $100 bill. At first, I passed it up like it's too good to be true. Like, was that a fucking fireball? was that a fucking half-eaten fireball on the ground? Just, and I did the lap, and sure enough, and I picked it up. I didn't even wash it off. I had a little mud on it, threw it right in my mouth, and just that sugar. Because I didn't have any fireballs. I didn't have any sugar, and I could just feel it coursing through my body. And it was worth it, dude. I don't give a fuck, bro. Someone spit on it. For that sugar, that cinnamon, that intake, that fireball, woo! Worth it, man. Worth all the nastiness. Give a shiznit. Don't give a fizzuck. So, man, what else? Okay, so, Fernizzle Castro. Fernizzle, I like that. Because as you know, I could be known as Splint Dizzle to the right people. Fernizzle Castro. What made you change? You know what really made me change? Get sober and get right? I just was not ready to crime no more. I wasn't. I burned out 2 prison numbers. I burned out an F number and a P number. And I did a gang of time in prison, 15 years. I just did not want to catch another number, get parole again, go through all the bullshit. And prison's going downhill. I mean, when I first started going, still had weights in this county jail, had tobacco. The clothes used to be cool in prison. Pants with belts and pockets and buttons and collars. Now it looks like pajamas with elastic and shit. Everything sucks about prison nowadays. I just did not want to go back, catch another number, quit wanting to crime. I knew I didn't want to crime anymore when this dude wanted me to do an armed robbery with him. I went to this pad and there was this dude. He was on lame status. He would hang out and he'd call his mom and she was real rich. She'd come drop him off like $500 at a time. And he's like, yeah, I'm in a band, dude. I'm making an album. Look, anyone can make an album. Anyone can go to a studio, pay the studio fee, break out your instruments and plug it in. Doesn't mean it's going to sound good. Doesn't mean people are going to like it. You can make an album, though, anybody. So he's like, I'm making an album, go get studio time. It's like, you rich little bitch. You can't even play. You're just buying the studio time, like, nerd. And so his mom dropped him off a gang of money. And he was all nodded out in a chair, and this homeboy called me, come over here, fool. And I showed up. He's like, let's get him. Arm rob him. Let's just take all his money, tie him up. He ain't going to say nothing. I guess earlier that day, he was driving his car and hit, like, a transit, the get bus. He's like, he himself is hiding from the cops, dude told me. And I was just thinking, dude, I don't know, man. An armed robbery? Let him get 5 with 85? A strike? Just, I'm not feeling it, dude. I knew right then and there. I was like, fuck that. And then the only reason I was staying high and staying loaded and staying well, because I'll tell the story maybe next couple of videos, I took a fucking whole apartment complex over. All bullshit aside. I didn't take it over by force so much as sweetness, get more bees with honey. Just, everybody had love for me and had respect for me. And they knew I had their back and they knew I was with the business when it came down to it and if it was time for it. But I didn't just by force, but just, I had it all coming. I had everything coming, just based on. And then when that apartment went to the shit, it's like, what? The only dude I could really score heroin off of, this old lady had a big crush on me, and she'd always trying to call me and shit, and it was just real weird. She would call me, and I wouldn't know it would be him, and it was just, I couldn't really score from him. Things were happening, man. So I just cleaned up. That's basically what got me to clean up. So, what else, man? I know we got some more. Couple more. You guys feeling it? It's good for you. It's good for me. Jared Fall. Now, Jared Fall had a bunch of them, man. Weirdest way people's got high. I'm in pre-trial one time, and these fools come up with the hand sanitizer. It's alcohol. Has alcohol in it, is our reasoning. Straight gross. Like, I have a headache just thinking about that. I get headaches kind of sensitive. Like, you're gonna drink soap, and I have love for the woodpile. I would never try to come up on anybody, but I gotta admit, I felt so ashamed of their foolishness that I actually came up off them by 2 for wanting them to Kool-Aids. They needed Kool-Aids to add to this soap they stole, this alcohol hand sanitizer, to make it, fruity tasting soap or whatever. And they didn't have any Kool-Aids, and I had Kool-Aids. I was gonna make a batch. And I said, look, I'll give you that, but they could be 2 for 1. I'll give you Kool-Aid, you gotta give me 2 back. It's like 2 for 1, that ass. Make some money off my, because they're so, come on, guys. Don't do that shit. You're making us look bad. Let me go ahead and make some money off you so it's real clear I'm not part of this little ongoings. Guys, come on. So, you know what else? You know what they want more than drugs? More than drugs, more than alcohol. You know what the going thing is? Tobacco. They will book a whammer for it. And me, I've never got addicted. My clock's lying to me. I have to do this, you guys. I hope you understand. I have never gotten addicted to tobacco. Never have. I bought a gang of packs. Of course, kind of funny, like I would go to Wasco and put 3 pouches up my ass. Like, you don't like tobacco, Splinter? Is that why you'd stick it up your ass all the time? Well, I mean, you make money off it, and of course I would smoke if it's there, but I'm never like, dude, I need to smoke. Fuck, dog. Ooh, I need to smoke. I just like, it's there, I'd take it or leave it. Same with alcohol. I never really got take it or leave it. Now with the drugs, a problem, okay? But they want tobacco. Even they want chew. The guards will take chew out of their mouth and they'll put it in. And they act like they came up. They act like they're doing something. And they're like, gross. And you're like, but Splinter, you ate a nasty fireball off the ground. And you're judging these men for getting chew out the ground. I hear you. I see your point. But no, I'm not going to take... They would pick up chew. Yuck. And then they would even smoke it or tea bags. And they would dry tea bag out the window. I'm like, I'll tea bag your motherfucking ass for drying those tea bags out. They would dry tea bags out and smoke it. And this one dude, I gotta tell you about this one dude. When I was in Wall Square Yard, my celly tattoo Mike slung that ink. He was badass. What do you want me to do? He want me to go stay night in someone else's cell, so their celly could come sleep in my bed, so they could stay up all night in my cell, and let my celly tattoo on them. Switch cells. Whatever. I just make it, I just say, look, when I get to that cell, there better be a Seroquel waiting for me. There better be a nice Cadillac cup of coffee in the morning. And I want some headphones and some good CDs, a CD player to listen to. You have all that arranged for me, I'll go. But you know what else I took with me? Look, this is a mature show. This is over 18. There shouldn't be no kids here. It's mostly male. The females know. I don't disrespect. I just keep it real. I'd also take with me a sock. Because I'm a prison. I'm sorry, but I pretty much choke the chicken every day. You have to, because you work out, you build all testosterone up. You're seeing females, it just builds up, you sleep better. It just gets in a habit. Probably even addicted to it. But I gotta keep it real. It's only like pleasure center you get. Let's tap into that before bed every night. So I took a sock over there with me. And I was in his bed that night, and fucking wouldn't you know, I missed a sock. And I thought, my bad, homeboy. But I didn't want to say, dude, on your sheets. I couldn't tell him myself. I don't mind telling myself 99.9% of the time, but I didn't want to tell myself for that one. Okay, I do have a little bit of pride, so I couldn't tell him that. But what I did do, I went home and I changed my sheets. I'm fuck, if I did it, he probably did too. And then I'm like, if he sees me changing my sheets out, maybe that'll be his cue. If he's really has discernment and can really pick up on game, that'll be like a red flag. He'll be like, whoa, Splinter's changing his sheets. Fuck, I need to change mine too. I don't know if he did or not. But what that fool would do, though, that I changed with and I was in his bed at night, he worked in the program office, and he would get the ashtray, and he would dump it out, and he would come up, look, dude, what I got. Like, he's so proud of himself, and it would just be like 10 butts, and all this ash and all that nasty smell that came with it, and he'd be like, look, dog, so proud of himself. I'm just like, yeah, you don't get too close to me. Like, I'll give you 5 soups to get that shit the fuck away from me. He'd be so happy. He just loved the fact that he had action to that ashtray, and that was his hustle and his come up, and he's, you want to smoke Sarah, dog? No, I do not. Got any extra sheets? Now look at Corey Martinez said, explain fishing. Mandatory, you gotta fish, dude. Fishing's a huge deal. I really don't want to get cut off. I gotta do this again. If you heard this song, you know what time it is. I just want to say this real quick about fishing. At Soledad, in the hole, O-Wing, east side and west side, the tiers like this. So they're connected. So if you're looking at your wall, then they're going to be someone, if you had x-ray vision, you'd see through all the walls, you'd see through another cell on the other side. And there's vents. And somehow, these smart motherfuckers figured out a way to connect these vents with a line. But it would take hours. It would take days. And God forbid, if you happen to be the dude that was in that cell, you would have to be the dude responsible for shooting the line. shooting the kites. Because they want to be in communication with every day. If someone new drives up, what's going on? They shoot kites all fucking day long. And I gotta admit, probably 50% of this is junk, bullshit, boredom. Hey, brother, not the utmost. Extend mine to you and yours full blast. Hey, homeboy, you got any, coolies down there? Shoot this kite. This is, but sometimes it's very important business. Shit cracks, and if you're in that cell, you're going to be in that vent for hours, dude, shooting that. Oh, my gosh. So glad I was not in that cell. And they had a thing pop up. We were single cell in O-Wing. The cops said they're going to start bringing people, double cell us up, bring people from X-Wing. The dude had the keys to O-Wing said, no, we're not double selling up. We like our single cell status. Hey, Woods, hey, white boys, if they try to put another dude in your cell, take off on them. I'm the first cell at the end. So if they start bringing people in, they're going to put them up. I'm the first one. So it's like saying, Splinter, when they bring someone over, take off on them. And because they know the cops will stop bringing people over because there was just an incident. Sounds like, fuck, it falls on me. And it's kind of a stupid rule because you're going to bring someone over who's good and active, maybe one of my friends. He has no idea. He's coming from X-Wing to O-Wing. Hey, what's up, homeboys? He's good. He's coming in. And I just take off on him. It's going to be like, what the fuck? I might even get in trouble for that later down the line. The rules are as such. So I thought that was a stupid fucking rule. Then finally he said, okay, we won't do that. He told the cops, we'll have double cell status if you let us pick our own cellage from this tier. Let us all combine right here on O-Wing, then you'll have all these empty cells and you can bring people in that way. And the cop said, okay. And the dude shot me a kite that was in the cell. They had to spend 4 hours shooting that freaking line over to the next swing. Shot me a kite. Splinter, please let me move, yo boy. Please let me move in. I just can't take shooting these kites every day. It's driving me crazy. I've already chewed all my nails off. Anyway, that's about it. I'm going to cut the string, let it fly. Fly. Cut the string, let it fly. On Valentine's Day, I want to spend it with you guys. I might even write you a love tune. I'm going live. We're going to be hanging out and chilling. Play somewhat of a game. I got some questions for you. You're going to be winning prizes. It's going to be a blast. You're not going to want the night to end. I can't wait for it either. Nothing but most some respect. Shout out to the Point of View crew. Shout out to the joiners. Join, man. Join. I'm going to make it worth your while. Trust me. I got things in the mix. I'm going to make it worth your while. We're going to work out some like Zoom meetings. And people love my notes. I didn't realize that. I'm going to start shooting notes to people. I guess they think that's cool, man. I'm glad to hear it. Cut the string, let it fly. Peace.